Hey everybody, it's great to see you. Welcome back. We're going to be making a great recipe today. It's Memorial Day weekend. You're probably going to be getting together with a few friends or maybe some family having a cookout, and you need something really quick for dessert. Now, you can make all kinds of different things, but the most favorite thing, especially I think for the kids and adults too, is chocolate chip cookies. Now I'm going to show you how to make the best chocolate chip cookie recipe ever. And you can use it for all different kinds of cookies. So I use it for chocolate chip cookies. I use it for what's called kitchen sink cookies. You can put in anything you want. After you make the actual cookie dough, which I'm going to teach you, then you can add chocolate chips, you can add walnuts, you can add raisins, whatever you would like. So we're going to get started. I'm going to show you how to make the dough, and then I'm going to go ahead and just add chocolate chips today. But you can definitely add whatever you want, okay? So the good thing about this recipe is you're just gonna mix everything together. There's nothing that you need to mix in separately or this, that, and the other. Everything goes into this mix all at once, okay? So we're gonna start off with the sugar. Now I have 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar here that I just made this morning because I didn't have any brown sugar left in my canister, so I had to make up a bunch. And remember, that's just 1 cup of regular granulated sugar to a tablespoon of molasses. If you want to make your own brown sugar, it's the best, definitely. All right, so we got 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar there, and then I'm going to have 3/4 of a cup of white sugar. So equal parts of brown sugar and white sugar go into the mix, okay? So then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add the fat to the chocolate chip cookies, and a lot of recipes call for butter or something like that. I use Crisco in this recipe and it works great. So 1 cup of Crisco goes into vegetable shortening, goes into the mix there. So far I had 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, 3/4 of a cup of regular granulated sugar, and then I have 1 cup of Crisco vegetable shortening. Okay, so that all goes right in here. So then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add the eggs. Now I have 2 eggs here at room temperature. Like I said before in a couple of my other episodes, if you don't have time to get your eggs to room temperature, just get some warm water, not hot water, just warm water, in a bowl, and put these in just for a couple of minutes. It brings them right up to room temperature without cooking them, okay? And it's perfect. So say you don't have time, say, oh my goodness, I don't have time. Well, it's okay, just put them in some warm water, just for a couple of minutes, and it brings it right up and it's great. So 2 cups, we're gonna go ahead and put those right in here. So hopefully you guys are making some fun plans with some friends or some family for Memorial Day weekend. Maybe a cookout. We're gonna have some burgers today, so for lunch, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. So we're gonna kind of stretch this Memorial Day weekend out, definitely as long as we can. Yeah, so today's Sunday morning, so we're just gonna make some real quick cookies to go with lunch today. So it should be good. All right, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna add the flour. So I have 2½ cups of regular all-purpose flour, okay? And I use King Arthur flour. If you have a favorite kind, you can definitely do that. But I love King Arthur flour, just the all-purpose unbleached white flour. All right, so that goes in there. So 2½ cups of that, and then isn't it great? We're just all throwing it all in at once. We don't have to worry about, mixing everything up and combining things. Although that's kind of fun to kind of watch the process. This cookie recipe is great. You throw it all in, turn the mixer on, and you're good to go. All right. So the next thing that we're gonna add is 1 teaspoon of salt. All right, got my beach music going on this morning. It's a beautiful day. It's gonna be a great weekend. Usually Memorial Day, it rains, but this weekend it's been really great. We've been really lucky. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna add is we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Real vanilla, folks, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my tap water going, and I'm gonna get the hottest water possible out of my tap, okay? But in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna start this mixer up, and we're gonna start mixing this, all right? Now I'm gonna start this on the low speed first, just so everything doesn't go everywhere, okay? And then soon as that gets incorporated just a little bit, I'm gonna up the speed, which I'm doing right now, and that's gonna start mixing, and I'm just gonna let that keep mixing, okay? So, as soon as that water gets warm enough, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons or 1/8 of a cup, okay, of hot water. Now, if your tap water isn't really that hot, you might want to put it in the microwave for just a little bit, but you want to get it hot because what you're going to do is that hot water is going to break down your Crisco and kind of melt it just a little bit, and that all of a sudden your dough turns from like a crumb mixture into a nice creamy mixture. Now, depending on the moisture content or how big your eggs are, I just use, I get mine from a farm, so they vary in size. So sometimes they're really big and sometimes they're kind of smaller, so it depends. And it depends on the moisture in your brown sugar as well, because your brown sugar has the moisture from the molasses. Depends on how much water you're going to use. So you're going to gauge this, okay? So I get 2 tablespoons, that's nice and warm, I see the steam coming out. 2 tablespoons of hot water. And then I'm just going to let this sit. Now, as this is mixing, then you can kind of watch it and you can kind of up and see exactly how much water you're going to need. Now, you're going to want this a regular cookie dough. You all know what cookie dough is, right? You all know the consistency of cookie dough. So you just make that consistency however you need it. You can cream it up a little bit more, or you can keep it up. I tend to go a little bit more on the creamier side, because of all the stuff I add to it sometimes, especially the kitchen sink cookies. So with my kitchen sink cookies, literally everything but the kitchen sink goes in there. Usually I chop up walnuts, pecans, almonds, raisins, butterscotch chips, chocolate chips, what else? I got raisins usually in there. Did I say raisins? I can't remember. Crayon raisins. So I try to throw everything in there possible that I can. So I'm going to turn this down for just a little bit. That's looking really good. I'm going to add about another 1/2 tablespoon of water in there, just because it's not quite as creamy as I want it to be. But it's amazing how just a tiny bit of hot water will change this recipe, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. That's perfect. Definitely perfect. So I'm going to keep whipping this. And this is going to mix for about another couple minutes. So when we come back, we're going to take this apart. We're going to add the chocolate chips and we'll be ready to go. We'll be right back.